It's only me, and welcome to another edition of Megacast TV. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host extraordinaire, the lovely Trace. How are you, Trace? You all right?
I'm good, thank you, Jake. And yourself? Have you had a good week?
It's been good, thank you. Yes, not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. We're here today to discuss mindfulness with a guest, is the word I was looking for, which is Katie, and she's in Barnsley. So, Tracy.
Hiya, Katie. Nice to meet you. So, tell me, what is mindfulness?
Right, mindfulness in a nutshell is living in the here and now. It's being and existing in the now. A lot of people think it's blank in the mind and things. It's not. It's just being and getting the mind to accept. And then it's, if you're living in the now, then the other problems can sort themselves out.
Yeah, because I've often heard that if you're living in the past, that's where depression comes. And if you're living too far in the future, that brings the anxiety. So living in the now brings you the inner peace, I'm guessing.
Yes, that's it. I mean, they always say that the present is a gift. And that's what mindfulness gives you. It gives you the gift of now.
You want to tell us a bit about what you do, you know, as a profession, so that people know a bit about you before we continue.
Yeah, I mean, my name on the tag is the Hoyland Hooker, and that's one of my roles where I teach practical crafts online. This links in really, really well with mindfulness because you have to be mindful to do crafts. I'm also a facilitator, which is the new watchword for a teacher of holistics, including mindfulness, with a local training company. We've just done a new initiative to incorporate mindfulness with stress busting, and that's going really, really well. It's impacting and changing people's lives. It's absolutely wonderful.
That sounds fabulous.
Yeah, see that spark growing is amazing. It's so worthwhile. I do it all free. I'm a volunteer, or as they call it now, self-supporting. I did say I was going to retire. I'm not retirement age, but since I've said I was going to retire, I've done more and more work in the community. I also do things for my local church. I'm a church warden there and community leader. And with the lockdown, hopefully, coming to an end, there's going to be even more work.
So you've said that you were retired. Were you a teacher before?
No, I newly qualified last year, although I've done quite a lot of teaching in the past. I decided for my sins to go and do a PGCE at master's level at Northern College, and I qualified just as lockdown started in March last year.
All right.
Congratulations.
No, I got through it even though a lockdown was with us. Sheer determination. But I'd always done kind of unofficial teaching, especially through like girl guiding and things, and scouts. So it just kind of gave me a bit of credence and gave me that qualification. By accident, I went to university 10 years ago. I thought I was going to get a helper for my shop that was doing holistics. It turned out I was one of the handpicked 20 to do the course there at Barnsley College. Basically was fill in the form you're in, and I went, in for what? And I ended up with a BSc after 4 years.
Fabulous. That's great going. They always say when the student's ready, the teacher appears.
Definitely. And I always accept things. We're all on a learning curve, and if opportunities happen, just take them. You know, like you're on about the future and anxiety. I very often go with the flow. And sometimes that's as equally as anxious, but also it's very fulfilling because you don't know what door's going to open.
No. And I'm a big believer in that, because I interpret mindfulness with LOA as well. So I'm a big believer in letting the universe, don't fight it, just like you, go with the flow. When it's meant to be, it will happen. The universe will find a way.
It's all timing, all definitely timing. I couldn't have planned my life, could not have at all. It's not always been jolly. I've had a lot of bad times. I do talk about it. I was mental health problems due to like abusive relationships. I got hooked on prescription drugs, and I had to go through the same rehabilitation that heroin users go through to come off codeine. It's so powerful. Without the mindfulness and without that kind of mental building strategies, I wouldn't be sat here.
So was it situations like that brought you onto your road for mindfulness then, Katie?
I was always interested in stuff that were a bit quirky. My mum was into stuff like that. I went to a spiritualist church when I was about 10 for the healing. And I do believe in ghosties. I'm also, in my spare time, a ghost buster, a paranormal investigator.
Wow, that's our second paranormal investigator on, Jay.
Yeah, we have had one before, yeah.
I love anything spooky, and there's not much phases me, because they kind of go hand in hand with some of the therapies, because I'm a Reiki master teacher as well. I qualified 13 years ago. That was a happy accident. My friend wanted somebody to practice on, and I was it. And then I developed a good technique. You've got to be in tune with your surroundings to learn and to go forward in anything, mindfulness, whatever. And the way I've developed strategies are using everyday life, because it doesn't have to be expensive. This is what frustrates me. A lot of people charge a lot of money for common sense. And you can look around you and you can find therapies in anything, like washing the pots, housework, ironing, colouring, puzzles, crochet. Oh, love crochet. Knitting, anything. Playing games.
I've learned that myself, as has Jake. We both are into crafts because we both suffer with mental health. And I find doing latchbook rugs, painting by numbers and diamond art, that has saved my life many a times, because it gets me out of the headset into doing the crafting, and you just can let everything else drift, can't you?
That's it. I mean, I also play the ukulele.
Wow.
I took that up as part of my rehabilitation when I was going through the drug and alcohol program, and I entertained people on courses and things. I didn't know I was going to play the ukulele, but I have found I cannot sing and play the ukulele, and it was explained to me that you're playing two instruments at the same time.
Okay.
But to be honest, I'm not very much of a singer anyway, not these days. When my kids were little, I used to go to the carol concert, and at the end, the vicar said to me, "You're quite welcome to come again next year, but can you please not sing?"
How rude.
It's a good job I knew the chappie, and he was, but he was serious. Do not sing.
Oh, no.
So Katie, what do you find? What kind of people do you find would benefit from mindfulness the most?
Anybody, absolutely anybody. I've done mindfulness practice with children. We work through schools and littlies. I've been dinner ladies, like classroom helpers. I've done everything. I've also worked in a care home, and I've done it with people with dementia. And there's certain techniques that really can improve their cognitive ability. It's good for people who are any kind of mental health problems. It's people who don't have mental health problems, you know, people who are just having normal lives.
Yeah.
It's so beneficial to everybody. Should practice a little bit of mindfulness every day. It can only take 10 minutes, and that 10 minutes can give you a good recharge and boost your battery, which makes you more
That's what I was just going to ask you. If you met somebody for the first time and they didn't know much about mindfulness, how would you tell them to start their day? What's a little practice they could do every morning just to start their day?
Right. One of the things I advise people when they're getting into mindfulness is the cup of tea, or it could be coffee or drink of water. To when they get up, not rush around doing things, give themselves 5 or 10 minutes, give them permission to go and sit outside if they've got outdoor space, or just sit in silence, or, you know, enjoying the cup of tea, because that in itself sets you up for the day. I do like tea. I really like tea.
I like decaf tea as well.
So it just sets you going, and then you can start thinking about, okay, what have I got to do today, and getting yourself in a right place, rather than getting up, brushing the dog rather than the kids, and not brushing your teeth, and running around like a headless chicken and things, and getting to have breakfast or whatever. You can actually just give yourself permission to have 10 minutes.
Now, obviously, Katie, I've been on your course, so I'm one of your students. And I know you mentioned a little earlier about, you know, you could do it anytime, anywhere kind of thing. And you often do it while you're washing up. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. There's 2 ways you can do it. You can either look at all the pretty bubbles, or as you're going round and round with the plates and things, and look at the pattern on the plate and watch all the muck disappear and watch the whooshing of the water. Or you can stand and have a look out the window. Oh, look at that bird, look at that cloud. Oh, this is all right. And then before you know it, your pots are done and you've had a mindful 10 minutes. You know, it doesn't have to be complicated. You know, cooking, things like that. You know, the things we have to do every day. So why not make them mindful? It's the act of consciously saying, right, I'm making this mindful. Like Jake, we've done eating, haven't we?
Yeah.
You can actually taste food so much more by saying, I'm going to mindfully eat. And you're not really changing much. You're just using your senses to enhance what you're doing anyway.
I was talking to Tracy about that just before we started tonight, because I found that particular session really useful, because it's something that I'd not practiced before, and I think if you can even just get that out there on its own, it's something that, you know, is can help. Do you know what I mean?
A lot of people think mindfulness is just meditation and the and guided journeys, which are very important, but there's about 12 different ways you can access mindfulness. I mean, on the course that I've just done, we've introduced the first 6. Things like mindful touch, giving yourself a hand massage or a face massage when you're anxious. Things like listening to different music.
And I think the most important thing as well with mindfulness is that a lot of people in society, because society is so hustle and bustle, they're on autopilot, aren't they? So their lives are ticking down and they're not really even, you know, appreciating or grateful for the little things anymore. And I think mindfulness brings that, doesn't it? It brings the gratitude. It brings just being happy with the little things. It's not about the big things.
I mean, with the pandemic that we've just got, well, we're still going through, that's opened my eyes up to be in. It is the nice little things that, you know, my friend walking past the window giving me a wave. It is the little things that matter. And I think we need to spread that more. You know,
I definitely agree with you. Is there a website people can go to, Katie, to sign up with you?
at the moment, we're doing it through Westwood 2015 training.
Okay.
And they have a Facebook page. Alternatively, you can always reach me through the Hoyland Hook page, or I have a YouTube that breaks down videos into easy techniques for that.
I'll put your link to the YouTube channel with this video, Katie. That's
and how much is a course with you, Katie? How much does it cost, and how many weeks is that over?
Yeah. Westwood is a charity, and it delivers, on the whole, free training, because that's what it was set up to do. So
and they're aimed just in the Barnsley area, aren't they? So they're specifically they have a target area, don't like a catchment area.
It's so it's like High Green, the Hoyland side of Barnsley, Wombwell, and that area is my local area, because that's what you've got to have a targeted area for the.
So it'd be no good for me in Lincoln.
No, but I'm sure I could send you some details. That wouldn't be a problem.
So that's what I mean. If people wanted to approach you personally and do it that way, then they could. Yeah. They don't have to go through Westwood.
No. I mean, we're just trying it out. This is the first 6 weeks course I've run for them, but we're hoping to set up things like mindful movement, and I'm hoping to put a lot more content online.
So, Katie, out of all the mindfulness things you practice, what's your favourite?
Apart from crochet.
Don't get us started on crocheting, for God's sake.
Oh, I've got so many yarns on that. I like mindful music. I don't know. I like using the variety. I do like mindful movement. I try and make time for that every day. It's a little bit like yoga.
Okay.
But it's not as strenuous, because I do have some disabilities. And it's working with your body. It's feeling it inside you, knowing where to move.
Fabulous. I'd love to learn that. That's one mindfulness practice I haven't learned or heard of.
I've learned that, Tracy. It's fabulous.
You'll have to teach me, Jake.
Last night we did it, didn't we, Jake?
Yeah, we did.
I only did we only did 6 minutes, didn't we? 6-7 minutes. And even in that, because it's only a taster, even doing 5-6 minutes. See, this is it. You don't have to give up an hour of your day. It's far better to find things that you like to do for 5 minutes, but do it throughout the day. It's like when people are working in offices, you should go out of the office and go and have a little walk, even a 5-minute walk if you can, because it gives you rest. It reboots your mind.
It's like with me, since I've suffered with anxiety and learned a little bit of mindfulness. In fact, I did a diploma on mindfulness myself. I found that one of the best things I've learned is the box breathing, because there's a saying I have, and it's feelings come and go like clouds on a windy day. Conscious breathing is my anchor. And then I do the box breathing, and that really helps take the panic attacks away. I found it really, really, inspiring.
Yeah. I mean, there are other techniques that you can use that I've linked to mindfulness. And I think having a combination, having things accessible there is the thing that's important.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously you do this course through Westwood, and you do, you can be approached yourself. What can students take away from your courses?
Well, you get a workbook, you get practical life skills, you get strategies that you can implement, because I don't believe in learning just theory. I believe in action. It's not a subject. Yeah, you can, bits of information, but if it's not useful and it's not used, I mean, it's called mindfulness practice for a reason. It's got to be practical.
So is there anything that can be done sort of, and I know we've discussed this in the course, but for the benefit of people watching, is there anything that you can do while you're on a bus, or you just sat waiting for a friend to come while you're having a cup of coffee, or is there something you can do in public?
Yeah, there's something called imagery, so you can just I like sitting in cafes and making stories about people that are sat around me, and you kind of give them a little backstory. Well, that in itself, because making up stories is also a mindful technique, because while you're making up that story, you're focusing on that story and you're looking around you. So it's really lovely at bus stops when Ethel from Worsborough, she's taking the dog to the groomers tomorrow, and things like that, and in your head. And I know it sounds a bit quirky, but it does pass 10 minutes away when you've got nothing else to think about, where you could be getting anxious about the bus has not come in. How long have I got to wait? Is that person standing too close to me? Am I going to miss the collection? Yeah. But if you sat there, I suppose it's called daydreaming as well. That's good, because it takes that stress and anxiety, and
so it's just a form of distraction then.
Yes. Sometimes.
We've talked about, obviously, and this is one of the things that I was talking to you in the class about the other day. We've talked about the mindfulness exercise. Do you want to just give us a hand exercise on camera that people could do if they're, just out and about?
It's things like clenching your hands together, like that, give them a squeeze, and then release. And you feel that release.
Yes, you do.
So good. And it's how simple is that? Hands together, squeeze, a release. And also rubbing your thumb and rotating round, twiddling your thumbs.
My dad used to do that all the time, just to keep himself calm. If he was sat in a hospital waiting room, he'd always twiddle his thumbs.
I play with my rings as well. But yeah, something as simple as clasping your hands together and then releasing them, but doing it in a purposeful way.
So before you do it, thinking that you're doing it because it's a mindful technique. Yeah.
I love that.
And then you feel the release. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You can look for things.
Yeah. So are there other practices that can be used in conjunction with mindfulness?
You can use things like CBT. It doesn't intrude with any other technique or DBT or other talking therapies. It can be used in conjunction with anything. It's complementary rather than either or.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
go on.
People who are on medication for anxiety, I would not stop your medication. You need it for a reason, but it will enhance the medication.
And enhance your ability to feel like you're coping, your coping strategies.
That's it. It's a complementary, it's an enhancement to everything else.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Katie, for coming along and speaking to us today. It's been absolutely amazing. And I'll put some links to your Facebook and to your YouTube channel that people can go and view. And I'd like to thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
No problem.
Oh, thank you, Katie. A true star you are.
Right, that's about it from us. I'm going now. Bye.
Remember, guys, be bold, be beautiful, and be unique.
We're here this evening to discuss mindful. No, we're not here this evening. We're here today to discuss mindfulness with